Welcome back to another explainer. Look, if you own a smartphone, you've probably been promised easy money while just lying on your couch. You know the drill, someone pointing at floating text while some trending song plays in the background. Well, today we're cutting right through all that internet noise. We're looking at a fascinating, real-world test conducted by William Hamilton. He actually decided to take one of these viral financial claims head-on. We see these side hustle promises literally everywhere. But honestly, it's pretty rare that someone actually sits down, runs the numbers, and tracks the daily data to find the absolute truth. And that is exactly what we're breaking down today. We're going to use Hamilton's structured experiment to see what actually happens when you put these bold digital promises to the test.
Okay, let's dive into this. If you spend any time scrolling on platforms like TikTok, you are constantly bombarded with financial advice, right? Well, the specific claim that sparked this entire investigation was this, that you can earn $20 to $50 an hour using simple survey apps. I mean, it sounds incredible. It's the ultimate dream, just sitting in your living room tapping away on multiple choice questions and making a highly respectable hourly wage. This specific claim is exactly what William Hamilton saw. But instead of just swiping past it or, blindly believing it and downloading a dozen different apps, he decided to turn it into a rigorous, data-driven challenge.
So, is this actually too good to be true? As focused learners, we know that extraordinary claims require hard evidence. When an app promises you the equivalent of a full-time professional salary just for answering a few questions about your everyday shopping habits, well, our natural skepticism should be ringing loud and clear. Let's completely set aside the hype, the catchy music, the flashy text, and let's just look strictly at the hard data from Hamilton's hands-on experience. We're going on an objective quest here to separate the reality of the side hustle from the digital fiction.
To properly evaluate this bold promise, William Hamilton knew he needed a clear, undeniable benchmark. So he targeted the absolute highest end of that viral claim. He set his specific baseline goal at exactly $50 an hour. By setting the stakes right at that $50 mark, he created a very strict pass-or-fail condition for this entire financial experiment. It wasn't about just making a few pennies here and there to buy a cup of coffee. It was about proving whether or not that top-tier earning potential was actually a reality for a normal, everyday user putting in the time.
To get good data, Hamilton designed a strict, controlled test governed by 3 very simple rules. Step 1, he downloaded 3 different survey apps. And crucially, these were all entirely free platforms with absolutely zero upfront investment required. Step 2, he capped his time at exactly 1 hour a day. This strict time limit is incredibly vital because remember, we are measuring an hourly wage here. It totally prevents the data from getting skewed by endless grinding. And finally, step 3, he ran this daily routine for 5 consecutive days. This wasn't just some quick 10-minute test before giving up. It was a dedicated multi-day process to see if consistent effort actually yielded consistent rewards.
Well, the initial reality check was pretty harsh. For the first 3 days, the results were completely stagnant. Day 1, goal not met. Day 2, goal not met. Day 3, goal not met. The standard process of just opening up the apps, filling out endless demographic profiles, and completing regular surveys completely failed to hit that $50 an hour mark. It was just a brutal grind of disqualifications and tiny incremental payouts. Honestly, if the experiment had ended right here, we would have definitely called that viral side hustle claim totally busted.
But then, on day 4, the entire trajectory of the experiment flipped upside down. $200. After 3 days of totally missing the mark and struggling to make even a tiny dent in the goal, suddenly there was a massive breakthrough. This wasn't just a slight improvement or, a lucky high-paying question. This was a massive anomaly that completely shattered the baseline expectations set by the first half of the test. Literally, everything changed in a single session.
So the crucial point is the context here. Hamilton didn't spend a sleepless 24 hours grinding on his phone to get this massive payout. No way. He earned that $200 in just 2 hours on day 4. Do the basic math on that, it equates to $100 an hour. That doesn't just meet the ambitious $50 an hour goal he originally set for this experiment, it completely doubles it. It takes that initial top-tier internet claim and blows it entirely out of the water.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakthrough is how he suddenly spiked his earnings out of nowhere. He actually abandoned the standard multiple choice grind and landed what is known as a virtual group survey. Instead of just tapping bubbles on a screen by yourself for pennies, you're actively engaging in a virtual group setting. Think of it kind of like a live digital focus group where you might be sharing your actual opinions on a webcam or in a moderated chat room. This fundamental shift in the actual type of task is what completely transformed the earning potential. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate trap of the digital side hustle. Relying on everyday standard surveys was an uphill battle with almost zero meaningful reward. It was a complete time sink. But pivoting away from that and getting into those high-tier interactive group sessions, that yielded a massive $200 in a fraction of the time. The contrast is just staggering. It shows us that hitting those viral internet income numbers isn't about blindly downloading an app and tapping away. It's about specifically targeting the right, high-value opportunities hidden within those platforms.
So it forces us to ask a pretty important question to wrap things up. Are standard, everyday survey apps essentially just a waste of your time unless you can land those elusive virtual group sessions? The data from William Hamilton's test strongly suggests that the high-paying reality, the one promised in those flashy videos, really only exists when you move beyond the daily multiple-choice grind. It definitely challenges us to completely rethink how we approach these digital side hustles, something to keep in mind for sure the next time you find yourself scrolling through financial promises online.